there, it's Michelle from CNC Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'm bringing you another Global Monthly Video Hub. And this month, the theme is Memories. So I'm going to be showing you how to make a memory book using Memories and More card pack from the brand new Gingerbread and Peppermint set. Now I'm just going to show you a few things from that pack to start with. So Memories and More are packs that come with lots of different supplies in 4 by 6 inch and 3 by 4 inch cardstock, as well as some extra little embellishments, so you can make cards really quickly. All you have to do is get the Memories and More envelope and card set that goes with it, and that comes with some small envelopes and some mini cards, as well as larger envelopes and regular size cards. They're white, and the great thing with that is with the Memory and More packs, so there's different theme packs in the catalog, you can just simply grab some of the small cards, put them onto one of the small ones, like in this case. They're all double-sided, and you could just pop that there with a few little embellishments, have an envelope, and there you're done. I'll show you the different card choices. So we've got the stripes and the Made with Love. This pack is great because it has 6 of each, so you can use them to make multiple cards or to mix and match to make other types of cards. And that has a gingerbread side and a little tree. And then we've got stripes and little baubles saying Happy Holidays. Then we have the little garland and Memories in the Making, as well as it's beginning to taste a lot like Christmas, and a decorative other side to that. Then you get some larger cards and some stickers and other embellishments. So these larger cards, you can use that for background, so you can just pop those two together, stick it onto one of the Memories and More large cards, and there you go, ready to go for Christmas. And so the other side, that's good for memory keeping, because you can write messages on there. The other ones we have, wishing you a sweet Christmas, quite cute, and then the plain background. And so they can be mixed and matched. And then there's a cute cookie recipe card in there as well, so you can write down your favorite recipe and give it as a gift, or use the other side for decorations. And then you also get a couple sheets of embellishments stickers, so you get 2 sheets of each of these stickers. So they're already adhesive on one side, you just peel them off to use. Got cute little baking pieces, other little embellishments, and then this set also comes with these cute little baking trays. So you get 3 black and 3 silver. I've already used them, but they're white on the other side, so you could use the other side and color it if you're looking for a specific color. So that's the Memories and More card pack. I'll be using some of those in today's project, but I wanted to show you ways that they can be used. So with this one, I used the Designer Series paper, Gingerbread and Peppermint 6 by 6 Designer Series paper. That's that little sticker I showed, and that's the little paper tray, cookie tray, and some embossed cookies. Here's again the tray, but this time I'm using the black one, and again using the stickers, and I cut out the star from that set. And this is Memories and More cards and envelopes as well that are special just for the gingerbread set in the mini catalog this time. So this is from the Designer Series paper. I cut out the little oven mitts, but that's one of the Memories and More cards, and then I've just stamped on there. And here, this is one of those larger cards that's already for you just to put your embellishments on it. That's die cut from our new red and green glimmer paper. And here's another one that's with some of the paper and stamped on the edges. And that just shows you the envelope that goes with this pack of cards. So it's got a area to write on, and it's already nicely decorated to match up with those cards. And then you could take it a bit further, and that's with the Designer Series paper, using one of our jar embellishments that's in the annual catalog, just to create a little shaker card. And with some of the paper there. So those were made with the Memories and More sets, as well as using some of the items from the stamp set, which is Frosted Gingerbread. The stamp set comes with a die set as well, with lots of dies to cut out the different shapes you can do in gingerbread, and you can make some peppermints. That's called the gingerbread dies. And I'm also going to use a few of the items from the Pretty Pillow Box dies, which comes in that gingerbread set. That can all be found on page 8, starting on page 8 of the new mini catalog. So this is the project I'm going to show you today. So I've got a belly band there because it ended up being quite thick. That is the Memories and More card for the front. You open it up here, and then I'm using the envelopes, the small envelopes from the Memory and More, so it creates little pockets so you can do little memory keeping there. And it's beginning to taste a lot like Christmas, and pop that open, and we've got our recipe, so you can give somebody a recipe. And then you can just open that right up, and then there's more memory keeping. You could put a photo in there if you want. And then when we fold it over, there's paper on the back. Then pop it open again, and this time we've got a little tag. And then the card, more Memory and More cards. And here, a couple little ornaments. And then area to write. And I actually put that sticker there because after I finished, there was a blemish on that side. So I popped the sticker there, which covers the blemish up quite nicely. And then you can just put your belly band over it to hold it closed. So this is how it looks open on one side. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. Kind of gingerbread on one side, and then the other side is more the green and red side. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this. Okay. So, as I said, we're using the Memory and More. So we're using 4 of the small envelopes that comes in the Memory and More pack. You get 10 small and 10 large cards and matching envelopes in that pack. So we're going to use 4 of those. We're going to use this for the front, but I've cut off a little bit at the bottom because it's too large for what I want to do. And then we're going to use these 2 large cards on the inside. I've already scored them in the middle, so they can be used because when they're folded in half, that equals the small cards, which is 3 by 4, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, 3 by 4. And that one was scored and folded in half as well. And then we're going to be using some other little embellishments that I've already pre-cut. So I've already pre-cut out of Whisper White cardstock using the tailor-made tags, a tag for this set. And I've already die cut using this set here. You see there's some pretty flowers. This is the Pretty Pillow Box. I've die cut 2 large and 2 small of the red flowers in the red foil paper. And I've also die cut a red and a white, and you can't see very well on the video. I'll try to show you. They're fuzzy, they're velvet. So we've got the red velvet and the white velvet in the mini catalog. And before I die cut these, on the back of it, I put some of the adhesive sheets, because see how intricate it is. To glue that down, it's very difficult to get it to glue very well. So I've actually got adhesive sheet on the back that I'll peel off when I glue these two pieces down. This will be making the little ornaments. So I've already gone and die cut the solid shapes for the ornaments. The nice thing with this set is you could have the decorative die cut piece to go onto your ornament, like that, or you can stamp one of these images and then die cut that as well. So let's move these things out of the way and get started showing you how to make the booklet. So the first thing you want to do is stick your envelopes together. And stick them onto the front and the back. So that's that piece. That's the Memories of More piece. And I cut it at 12.5 centimeters to give me the bottom. And that equals, that looks like it's just under 5 inches. So I've basically cut about 1 inch off the bottom of that. And don't throw that away. You will be using that to give me the front. So the back, this is the Designer Series paper, and I've just cut a piece to match that. So that's about 4 inches by 5 inches, or 10 by 12.5 centimeters. And then I did a matching basic white cardstock to put on the inside so you don't see that. That'll be the back side to it. So we're going to stick the envelopes together. Now you can just use the adhesive on the envelope, but it just doesn't stick as well. It only sticks in one part because there's only adhesive there. So I'm going to go ahead and use glue to stick them together. So the first thing you want to do is stick it to the front. So these pieces, they're cardboard, so they're nice and solid for the front. But this back piece is Designer Series paper, so it's not very solid, which is why I've got a piece of white to hold it in place. So for the front, we want the pocket to be useful, so we're actually going to stick it down this direction. So the flap's going to be there, but that'll be hidden later on. Okay. So the best thing to do is to actually stick your 4 pieces together, and you need to figure out where you want your openings to be. So I said I was putting it down there. I'm going to put it down that way, but I'll have that open. So that'll be going down that way. So then I want to have an envelope stuck here. Turn the flap over to have an envelope stuck that way. Turn the flap over, and then have my final envelope stuck down like that. So there'll be some openings on one side and there'll be some openings on the other side. So you want to stick those all down. Now you could, as I said, just use that, or I'm just going to use some liquid glue to hold them in place. So you only want to stick the envelopes to each other at this stage. So I'll just stick them together using some glue, and then I'll show you all of them in a minute. Okay, so there we go. I got them all stuck together. So the way I stuck them together, there's an opening on 2 openings on one side, and then if you turn it over, you've got 2 openings on the opposite side. And then it comes together like that. So gluing your envelopes onto the other cards. And don't worry about if you can see the envelope, the top of the envelope there, because it will be covered up. Okay. Now, for the front part, we want to glue that down, but we want the opening to be accessible. And because of the wanting to stick something in there, we're going to be sticking in the Memories and More card. We're going to be using all the cards. So we're going to be using this card, that card, and that card. So we'll use basically all the cards from the set. And because of the width, we could cut it down, but I want the whole thing to be seen. So because of the width, I'm going to have that sticking in there. Now if I glued that centrally, it would stick out the top. So I'm gluing this envelope to the back side, so it's going to be flush to the back, so there'll be room for this to be pulled out. But you want to make sure you don't get glue right in that opening, because that's how you're going to make your pocket and pull it out. So just a bit of glue up the sides, and then just to hold it in place. So when we glue this together, make sure you got the right side showing, and we're just going to put it so it's flush against that back side. So we want that to be flush against the back. So see how that's coming nice and flush against the back there. Turn it over and check. Pretty well centered. Don't always do things centrally, but I'll try. A little off center there. We'll just move it up a bit. Okay, so that's flush on that side. So the opening's here on the front, and that's the front of your card. So that can just simply be slipped right in there, and you don't see it from the front. It's nice and flush, and you can just simply pull it out, write your little messages, maybe put a photo in there. You can also put other little things in the pockets, so they're good for keeping little mementos from your Christmas. So the next one, we want to have you're the icing on my gingerbread. So I'm doing it with the colors that go with the designer series paper, which is Real Red and Old Olive. And so there's you're the icing on my gingerbread. Normally I would stamp that separately and raise it up, but for the video I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it straight on and hope it comes out right. So making sure that's the second one. Yep. And even pressure. There we go. A little smudge, but that'll do. Okay, so I've got that, and then I'm going to put 3 gingerbread pieces on there, which I will stamp and heat emboss. The next page, so to cover up the line from the fold, we're just going to simply pop this there. You could put other things there, you could add other embellishments, and again, you don't want to glue right up to the edge there, so when you're sticking it down, you've got to make sure that you don't glue your opening shut. So I'm going to put some glue here. So I know where the opening is, and I won't glue that side, I'll just glue the other 2 sides. And a little bit on the center. That way I don't run the risk of gluing the opening shut. And so this one I'm just going to pop in centrally. If you wanted to add a bit more color to it, you could cut a cardstock that size to fit behind it, maybe red if you want to add some more color to it. But I'm just showing you the ideas of putting it together. So now inside that pocket we want to have our recipe. Now if we just slid this in the pocket, some people might not know it's there, and it's also quite difficult to pull out. So I'm going to use the ribbon, which is part of this set as well. I'm just going to cut a little piece of ribbon, maybe, I'd say, how big? Yeah, maybe about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. Just cut a piece of ribbon. Want it to be straight on the ends, so I'll just cut that straight on the end. This is our lovely Real Red Ruched ribbon. Now I will post the names of all the products I use in the description of this video, so you can go there to look up anything that you want. So if you want to purchase any of the items, you can find the names there. As well as if you do want to purchase, contact your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you don't have one and you live in New Zealand, I'd be happy to be yours. So you can just click on my link at the bottom of the video to go to my shop, and you can order directly from me. These products become available on August 3rd, and they are available until January 3rd of next year. So it's in the mini catalog. So just putting a piece of tape on either side to hold the ribbon in place, and just peel that tape off. There we go. And just stick your ribbon just there. It's just going to make a tab so you can pull your piece out. And the reason I'm using tape is if you use glue for ribbon, sometimes it distorts the ribbon and seeps through and sticks everywhere else, and the tape allows you to adjust it as well. So that's just giving me a little tab, and because it's ribbon, it's not going to affect the opening of the card, so it doesn't affect anything in the back when we open it up. But it just gives us the tab, so when you slip it into your little pocket, so if I push it all the way in, you can see, oh, there's a tab, I wonder what that is, and then you can just pull on that to pull it right out. And that way you can give somebody your favorite cookie recipe. So that's that page. Then the next page, I decided I wanted to pop one of the Memory More cards in there. The little happy holiday. That would be cute with a little photo there maybe, or you could write a message, or you could have a message there and then stick a photo on the back. And I wanted that to be there, but I didn't want to cover up the nice little message, so I cut the bottom piece that was cut off of the front section. Will fit perfectly right there. So I just need to cut off a little bit of that to fit it. And these envelopes are 3.5 inches, or I'll give you the metric in a minute. That's about 9 centimeters. So I've basically just cut off a couple little rows of the spirals, and then I'm going to stick it down there, and I want it to fit the card. So I only want it to be stuck on the side, the sides and the bottom, because otherwise I won't be able to slip the card in. So because it's it goes the same on both ways, it doesn't matter which side's the top. So just a little bit of glue on the edges and a little bit down the bottom. And then pop that in place, right down, touching the bottom of your envelope. And just hold that in place for a minute or two. And because I didn't glue the top, I can just slide the top piece right in there. Now I'll leave that out for now. So if there's any glue that seeped out, it's not going to stick it in there. Now this is for the last page. And I'm going to, wrong way around. So this envelope here is going to be stuck on the last page. And then to cover up the envelope, I'm going to put the white cardstock. Now on my original one, I used the long stamp, this long stamp here, to make like a gingerbread border, but I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to leave it at this stage. I thought I would decorate it a bit more, and I'm going to decorate it with the this like a little spiral stamp there, which matches these little images there. So I'm just going to stamp that around the edges because you won't see the center. The center will be covered up with this. So I'm just going to stamp it in red, just around the edges there, just to give it interest. I might see if I can line it up. I wonder if I can. See if I can get it doing sort of a border. I haven't tried this before. Ooh, might work. So I'm just turning my stamp. So see, there's 5 of them on there. And so I'm just turning my stamp the other direction each time to try to give me a border. And I don't know whether it's going to fit the whole way down. It depends on how I stamp it. But that's the fun of stamping, is trying new things out. So we'll just come across the top now. And then just flip it the other way. And basically create myself a little border. Got to be a bit careful with the stamps, because when you get some around the edge, it gets a bit messy. And so some of them I'm doing closer than others, which is a bit silly. But and so there I've got it missed a spot, but I can fix that up. If you don't stamp right and you have the photopolymer, usually you can line it up and re-stamp. So I missed out. I didn't put pressure on one side, so I only got 3 of this ones stamped there. So, and I did it again. See, I'm missing the one there, but the ink's still on the stamp. So if I just line them up without re-stamp inking and put pressure on the one I missed, I picked up the ink. So I missed that one originally, but the ink was still here. It was just, I didn't push right. So that's a tip if you're using photopolymer, because you can see through it. And let me just finish this row off. Oh, so I did it again. Probably because I have a card underneath. So what I'm talking about, see how I've missed out those ones? But the ink is still on the stamp. So if I just line them up, because the ink came off the other images, it won't affect. So now I got the ink that was still on the stamp right onto the image without having to re-ink it. Because if I re-ink it, then I'd end up getting ink on the other images. Okay, now let's see how I can do the bottom border. I'm thinking I'm just trying to figure out how to come around the corner there, because it's not quite where I want it to be. That's okay, you probably won't even notice it when I put the card on. And just come around this bottom. So this is what you get when you stamp on the fly and don't really think about what you're doing. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm just missing some in the top corner. Let me see if I can get that stamped. I'm just going to put a scrap paper and see if I can maybe get a couple in there. I might do one there. So I just stamped one in that corner, and let's see if I can do one down here. I've still got ink on the stamp, so I'm just going to turn it around and try to put one. Just put one there, and one on that bottom. There we go. So I basically filled in the corners. And now I'll clean this off before I put it somewhere and regret it. Nothing worse than moving something and getting ink on it. So that is going to go on the back page, and so because of that, you don't really see it, just gives you a nice decoration there. So I'm going to put glue on this part, like we did the other ones. So you can put the back page on at any time. I was just doing it in order just to show you. And if it's directional, make sure you have the correct direction going. This one is not. And again, we want the end, this back end of it, the back of the booklet, to be flush with the card, which is also why I'm using glue, so I can wiggle it into place, because we also want the edges to be flush with the front. So you just, having liquid glue, you can wiggle it around a bit, move it into space, so from the front you really don't see that back part. But as you can see, that's quite flimsy, whereas the front is not, because it's cardstock. So that's why I've got this piece to put there, and it covers up that envelope. So pop some glue on there. You could use double-sided tape if you want for this part of it, because you don't really need to wiggle it into place. And because it's non-directional, I'll just slide that right to where I want. This should cover that back piece exactly. So for your front and your back, you could make this a bigger one. You could use the larger envelopes if you want. Just make sure that you cut your front, your back panel, and your DSP to the same size. And now I can pop this there just to give me a nice little message. You could leave the card off if you wanted to put a stamp. You could just stamp there or put a photo there if you'd like. I'm just showing you how to use the Memory More cards in a different way than they were originally intended. So there we go, that's our back, and then this should be dry so I can slip my little notes card in there. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, let's go through and get the back, and then I will do the embossing. So turn it over, making sure that's the front is in the correct direction. And this Memory More card piece, we're going to glue here. So we can pop that down there. And there are little stickers that have snowflakes and stars and things like that in the pack, and other little embellishments as well. So you could have little other embellishments and snowflakes and things. So I did the star on there and originally, and then I stuck it on some of the shimmer paper and cut that out. But I think I'm just going to use the inside that was left over from the star I used on the last one. I'm simply going to pull that off, and it's got adhesive on the back, and just make it a simple star for this one, just to add something on there. So you could add, you know, these little embellishments around the edges of things if you want. And then I need another card. There we go. So that's another one of the Memory More cards made with love. So you could put that somewhere if you want, but the direction I did mine, it doesn't really go. In fact, I could put it at the very last page if I wanted, but I'm going to use this side of it to cover up the envelope over there. So I'm going to glue two sides of this, and then I'm just going to glue right on the edge there. So remembering, I don't want to glue it to close that envelope there. I just want the two sides, so don't put glue on one edge, and then you should be right. Okay. And then this last part, that last section, I want this so you can write some messages there. So I scored it in half, and that's going to go where the fold is. And then that'll allow us to use that pocket side as well. So I'm going to use my, I almost forgot. So let me just check, is it going to go far enough? Okay, so this one, see, it doesn't go all the way past the opening, so I can go ahead and glue right to the edge on this. I just wanted to double check that. And you definitely want to use liquid glue for here because you want to wiggle it in place. So once you set it down, try to line up the score line that you fold at the center of it to that center part, and then go ahead and fold it shut. Because if you don't do that, you usually end up with a gap where the fold is. So having the liquid glue will let it move into the place it needs to go. And as it is, because the way it folds, you're going to have that gap. So if you do that right on the edge and just kind of push it into place, so it'll open and close nicely. Okay, so there you go. Now my other one, I put a sticker there because I had a blemish there. And you could put stickers throughout if you want. I could put some star stickers and other things because you do have different little embellishment stickers that come with the set. So you could add some more embellishment to it if you'd like. Now we're going to go ahead and decorate the rest of the little sections that go in the pockets. So I will move this aside for a moment and let's do the tag. So this was cut with the tailor-made tag set, and there are several different size tags that you can do, and you can also cut out little reinforcements for the little holes in them, which is quite cute. So here I'm going to put a message at the bottom, the wishing you a Merry Christmas. Now I had it that way. I'm thinking I might go sideways this time and then put the embellishments on either side. So I had the card going that way, tag going that way, but I think I'll go this way. And then if you want to use it as a tag for a gift, you can write on the back. So I will do this in the old olive. And I cut that with the thick basic white, so it's thick enough for a tag. You could do some of it in the DSP and then add the basic white to the back. So that's wishing you Merry Christmas from the stamp set. There you go. In the old olive. And then with these guys, the best way to stick them together, because they're shiny and liquid glue doesn't go very well onto the shiny papers, use your glue dots. So here's my glue dots there, and if you stick the glue dot on the back of the small one, don't worry about it maybe being bigger than you need. Just stick it together off center. So if I stick it off center like that, it fills up the spaces quite well. So it just fills in the gaps between the different branches. So again, take your small one, stick it onto your glue dot. So I stick it onto the glue dot itself. A lot of people take the glue dots off and then try to stick them on, but they're really meant for you to stick things onto them in the packaging. That way you don't get sticky everywhere. And then I'm going to add some pearls in the center just to give it a little bling. So I use my scissors, or I could use my pick a tool. It's got adhesive on the back. Just pick one up and then press where you want it to go. So if you just gently pick it up from the bottom, and so it's got the adhesive holding it on the scissors, and just gently stick it up where you want it to go, and then press. So that gives me my cute little poinsettias. Now I will glue this little piece down. Now when you have something really tiny to glue down like this, sometimes you glue it and then you try to stick it down and it gets stuck all over your fingers. Easy is to glue where you want it to go. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue right around that opening because I know that's where it's going to go. Then you can pick the piece up without getting sticky all over yourself and pop it right where you want it to go. And voila! It's stuck where you want it to be. Now these aren't shiny on the back, so I could use liquid glue to glue them down. And I'm just going to have a dry run first and see where I want to pop them. I think I might pop them like there. Now my original one, I did the little bits in the cinnamon cider that kind of matches the background, so I'm going to do that here. Where's my cinnamon cider? There we go. And I'm just going to pop a scrap piece in case I go off the edges. I'll just pop a few bits here. Just to give it some different coloration. I could leave it blank, I guess, but I'm just trying to show you how to use all the stamps from that set. And I think I'll just do some here. And a few around the bottom. Maybe one over there. There we go. So that just ties in the different colors from the stamp set, which is cinnamon cider, real red, old olive, and it does have some early espresso in some of the images, so just around the edges, so if you are using that. Now again, I need my red ribbon. So I'm probably going to use about a couple inches, maybe 2.5. And stick that through. So if you just bend it and stick it through the hole. Now I have a little tool. This is a little twist tie. So I find it's really handy if you're trying to do pull through ribbons and when you're trying to pull through ribbons, especially if it's quite a small hole that you're trying to get through. So put your twist tie through the opening in your ribbon. There we go. With the loop on one end. And then you can simply slide the other end of your ribbon in the loop. So once you have that in there, just give it a tug. I hope it's on video. I'm busy watching my hands, not watching the video. So give it a tug. Because this is a thick ribbon, it's a bit more difficult. It works better off video. Give it a tug. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Just a bit difficult. I would pause it and show you the end result, but I'm sure you probably want to see that it does actually work. And so do I. My fingernails all broke off, so normally I would just use those to pull it through. It's just about, okay. Plan B. Get your pick a tool out. Take the end and push it through. There we go. believe that came through. Aha, it did. I cut that ribbon way too small. Way too small. Okay, don't do 1.5 inches. Do a longer piece of ribbon. That was my problem there. Okay, I'll fix that up later, but there. That is way too small. Okay, this time I did 5 inches. Much longer piece of ribbon. So we'll do it again. Hopefully it'll work this time. So squish your ribbon, get it through the hole. Much more room to go work with. So slip one end through and your loop end over your loose pieces. Tighten that up. And then you just pull it through. There we go. That was the problem. It was too small of a ribbon. That's what I was trying to show you. Okay. And just straighten out your ribbon how you want it to be. And then I usually like to trim the ends. So I was being too skimpy on my ribbon. So now that that's pulled through, I just trim my ends at an angle just to give them some interest. And now we will stick our little poinsettias in place. So because it's not shiny on the back, I think I already mentioned, you can actually just glue right onto the paper. You don't need a lot of glue, just enough to, I just put it on some of the petals. And then I'm just going to pop that guy over there. And then some glue onto the petals. Oop. Glue's being a bit too generous now. And just pop that guy down there. You could do more. You could even maybe use the stickers if you want. You could use the snowflake stickers or star stickers on your tag. So that's the tag. And then these guys, as I said before, I have put the adhesive sheets on the back. And so after you run it through your die cutting machine, you simply peel the paper off the adhesive backing. So the adhesive sheets come in 6 by 12 inch sheets. I'm not sure how many is in a pack, quite a few. So you just decide how much of the sheet you want and you peel off one side. It's like double-sided tape. You peel off one side, stick it down onto the item you want, die cut it, and then when it's done, you can just easily peel it off. So there's that side, and then this side. Just bending over trying to find the paper edge. Again, not having any long nails is not helpful. There we go. I think I found it. There we go. And stick it down. Okay. Now this is the velvet, so it's nice and fuzzy and it gives you some texture to it. Now, these are going to be little ornaments, so I need to poke a hole in the top. I'll get a punch to do that and put some ribbon in there. Okay, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell hole punches any longer, so I'm just going to use one that I happen to have. But the original ones I did, like the bell, the other two have, the die cuts actually have a whole space, so it's easy to pop the hole in there. And then the other one was, so I did the bauble and the bell. So you can see that the die cut parts completely different. This I did in the old olive, and that I've got in the red foil. The green foil doesn't match old olive. It's more of a garden green. And so I'm just going to use some twine, some white twine from our Baker's Twine Essential Pack. Comes in 5 different colors, which is quite nice. And because these could be ornaments or they could be tags, I'm just going to cut a piece. What am I cutting? About 7 inches. So I'll do 2 pieces there. You can color this with your inks or your Stampin' blends if you want the twine. So you could take the white twine and we could color it with the red or the old olive, but then you have to leave it time to dry. So I'm going to just tie a knot in the end. So just twist it through, tie a knot on both of them. So you do need it long enough that you can do that. And hopefully it won't be as difficult to stick through as the other one was. And then just pop that through. And because it's much skinnier, I don't need my tool. I should just be able to open it up and pop it right through. There's one tag and the other tag. So these could be tags or ornaments, whatever you want. And then when you use them, you could then put other things in the little pockets. You could have souvenirs from your day, extra recipes. You could do this as a recipe exchange. Get other cookie recipes to slip in there. So those are bits for the inside. So there we go. So this little tag, stick it in here, and then it sticks out, so you know that's there. And then the other little pocket there, we'll pop in a couple ornaments that kind of look like, oops, can't see. Pop in a couple ornaments in that pocket, so they kind of match that section. And then I popped the tag there. So now I'm going to do some heat embossing. So with a bit of real red, I am going to do the white messages, sending you peppermint kisses. And then I'm also going to do the three stamps that are look like gingerbread cookies. I'll do that onto the cinnamon cider. So I've got that there. So I've got my white embossing powder ready. And I always just do it in a little container so it's easy to see. And using Versamark, that's our clear sticky ink. It allows you time to pour the powder over before you heat it up. So I am going to, I'll do the words first. So wishing you a Merry Christmas. Oh, no, not that one, sorry. Sending you peppermint kisses. That's the one I want. So you can't really see, but if you put it in the light, you can see some shininess on there, and that way you know that you've got enough onto your stamp. And then I'm just going to give it good pressure. When you stamp with Versamark, it actually changes the color of the cardstock. So you can see where you have stamped for putting the powder on. It's also good just to give you a, so you can see where it is there. It's also good if you want to just do a tone on tone. So I could just stamp images all over the cardstock in Versamark, and it will dry slightly darker than the cardstock. So it gives you kind of an interesting impression. And so I'm just going to pour my white powder my white embossing powder over the top, give it a tap, and there we go. It's got a little stray bits, but you can either shake those off or just leave them as is. Static electricity makes it stick where it doesn't need to be. And so I will heat that up off screen with my heating tool, and then I'll die cut it using this shape that came from the extra set, the Pretty Pillow Box set. So I will do that off screen because it'll be very noisy. But I will also stamp and emboss the frosted gingerbread. Now I forgot to get those ones out, so I will do that now and just show you the start of it. So there you go. So this gives you a different image than the die cut. This is more of a solid image. Looks like when you emboss it, it actually looks like the icing onto your cookie. Oh, that's not good. That didn't stick very well. Okay, take two. Didn't stick to my block because my block was dirty. So you got to make sure you keep your blocks clean. Okay, I'm just going to put it over here. Good pressure. Nice solid image. And once again, so you can see the image coming up on the cardstock, because Versamark does give you that stickiness that if we leave it to dry, it would just stay. Okay, so I will heat that up and I will do the two other ornaments, the cookies, and I'll be back and show you how to put it together. Okay, so I've gone and heated up the powder, and so you can see that one and then the three cookies. So once I put the powder on with the Versamark, I heat it up and it becomes solid, so it melts the powder into a solid form. So for the cookies, we'll pop them onto this section here, the icing. Put the icing under my gingerbread. So I'm just going to pop the biggest one in the background, and then I'll put the other ones up with some dimensionals to give it some height. So just a bit of glue to hold that in place, and then just pop that onto that little envelope there. And then these two, just a couple of dimensionals on the back. Maybe one there and there. And just a couple to hold it in place. And so I'm just going to have a little gingerbread look there. And then maybe pop that up a bit more. And then I've already gone and tied some bows. I believe these are retired, the red and the old olive ribbon. But as I said, you could color your twine with your blends if you want. And I'm just going to put those down with glue dots because, as I said, the ribbon doesn't go very well with glue itself, but the glue dots or double-sided tape, tear and tape, helps to stick things down. And so just put it onto the dot itself, and then just place it where you want it to be. There we go. So that's my gingerbread. so we've got our card there that pulls out, our gingerbread, our recipe card here in that pocket. Turn it over, we have our little part that pulls out. Could add some little decorations or maybe even words there. That section, then you turn it over, you got your tag, and now we want to decorate that. And then we also have our little ornaments on that side too. So we want to decorate this side. Now, the other thing I forgot to stamp earlier are the little peppermints. As you can see, I've used them a lot. They've kind of discolored. So I need to stamp my peppermints so I can put it onto that side there. And there's dies that cut them. So there's these three come together, and there's a die that cuts all three, and then there's different size dies to cut the other peppermint. And you can even there's even dies that can cut the peppermints, the different parts of it, so you can glue the spirals onto the white background. Now, oh, there it is. I'm trying to find my real red. So just a little bit of ink on there. I find if this is on a juicy stamp pad, it smears everywhere. So we'll just do a couple of those, and then I can just die cut them all in one go. And then we'll do a couple of these. And so I'm just stamping a few of these images. I might just do one more of this bigger one, just slip that in there for die cutting purposes. So I will go die cut them. So see, if you ink it up too much and press, you get all the little bits from the center, which is not good. So that's not good there. I'm going to die cut these, and then we'll put that section of the card together. Okay, so I die cut all those little pieces, and we will put it together. But first I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And then I will decide where to put the peppermint. Let's move those aside. So we'll just pop that there, sort of central. And then my peppermints, I can decorate however I like. I'll glue some of them flat, and some of them I will give dimensionals to, dimensionalize them. So just a bit of glue. You pop them just randomly wherever you want them to go. And I'm just going to put some with the glue on there, give me a bit of height. And then, thought I had more. Okay. And maybe pop one of these down. Yep. And these little ones, I will put the mini dimensionals on the back. So with the mini dimensionals, they're just the perfect size for some small projects. And give them some height. And I'll just pop these guys around here, there, and wherever. To give it the look with lollies all over, scattered around. And you can just decorate this however you like. You can go as crazy or as subtle as you want. The Memories and More packs lend themselves quite nicely to interesting decorations. And this is just one way to do the theme of memories with the set. If you want other ideas on the theme of memories, make sure you look in the link at the bottom of my video, because that will link all the other participants in this month's Global Monthly Video Hub. Okay, so that's that. So I think we are finished. So let's have one final look. Oh, not finished. The outside. So I used, because as you can see, once it's done, it kind of wobbles and opens up because it's so thick. I used a piece of window strip to go around the outside edge, and because I could just leave that clear, but then you might not know that it's there. So there's another die that cuts the interesting looking icing. So I cut 2 strips of that. This is 1 strip cut in half, so that's the full length that you get. And again, I did this with the adhesive sheets on the back. So I can simply peel off, and this is on the white velvet to give you a bit of texture. So you can just peel off the paper from the adhesive sheet. And this is just a piece of the 12 by 12 inch window sheet, and it was a piece that I had left over, so it looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch wide. So you just need something wider than your decorative icing piece, and so I'm just putting that so the end is just touching one end, and I'm just gonna spread it out so it sticks down. Now, the adhesive sheets are good for sticking things down, especially on the window sheets, but sometimes it doesn't stick as firmly as you want. So my recommendation, which I will do in a minute, is run it through your die cut machine afterwards, and that pressure will definitely fix it all down. The reason you don't want to use glue on the window sheets is because when it oozes out, you'll be able to see the glue. So if you cut that in half, then you should be able to line up 2 of them. I can line them up and then just put it down. Now I'm going to run this through my die cutting and embossing machine. I'm going to put a piece of plain paper over the top so I don't get any marks over the white vellum, and that will fix it in place even better because it'll give it nice good pressure. Okay, so that's actually given it nice pressure to really push it in place onto that window sheet with the sticky. It squished it a little bit, but it still gives you the same fuzzy texture. And basically, with that, then you just wrap it round, and I found that it overlaps perfectly. 1.5 overlaps perfectly. So I'm going to cut my extra strip off right where the edge of that one is, and so I don't need the full. So it looks like I took off just a little more than 2 inches. So if you're wanting to know beforehand, and then you could wrap it round, but I'm just going to glue those 2 bits together. Now I'm going to use a little bit of fast fuse double-sided tape just on that last one, just to hold it in place. And you probably won't be able to see this through the window sheet because there'll be another one on top. So I'm just trying to get my double-sided tape there, because as I said, the liquid glue does not like it. So I've just got a bit of the strong tape on that section. And I will stick the 2 pieces overlapping. So those 2 pieces overlapping. I didn't line that up very well on the window sheet, but that's okay. So just overlap them and then just maneuver it into your shape you want. And you should be able just to slide your book right over there. So that just holds your booklet closed. So that holds your memory book closed. You could do a ribbon around there if you want. Glue it one side or just tie it completely. So that will hold it closed, and then you can slip it open to see the different sections. Remember, we've got the card hiding there, the cookies there, the cookie recipe hiding in that section. Then you can flip it over and you've got your little section here to put your messages or maybe a photo. And then once it's on the back, flip it again and you've got your Merry Christmas tag, and you can write a message in there. This section here, you have a few ornaments, so you can put something else in that little pocket, and then another area to write. And that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And for more inspiration on the Memories theme, have a look at the links at the bottom of this post for the other participants in a Global Monthly Video Hub. And that was using products from the gingerbread set on page 8 of the new catalog. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you'd like that, and subscribe so you'll see more videos in the near future. I will also put a list of all the products that were used in this below, so you can look at those if you want to purchase. And if you are in New Zealand and don't have a demonstrator, I'm happy if you'd like to click my link and purchase from me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.